right, Nigeria's President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has assigned portfolios to some of his ministers who have been cleared by the Senate. During Galali, the presidential spokesman confirmed the portfolios at Asu Rock Villa on Wednesday. Now, here are some of the ministers and their portfolios. Nyesom Wike, FCT Minister. Festus Kiyamo, Minister of Aviation. Adebayo Adelabu, Minister of Power. Adegboyega Oyetola, Minister of Transportation. Dele Alake, Minister of Solid Minerals. Well, we do have these ones and a whole lot more. Well, joining us to talk about this, we have Barrister Eze Eluchie and also another legal practitioner, Olayinka Ola Daniels. Good morning to you, learned gentlemen.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having us on board.
All right. Good morning to you, Barrister Eze Eluchie.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good to have you join us on the show today. A beautiful morning to you as well, Olayinka Ola Daniels, legal practitioner. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
All right. Good to have you as well. Now let's start with Barrister Eze. Let me come to you now, Barrister Eze. Your thoughts on the ministers, the ones released so far. What are your, I would say, opening thoughts? I beg your pardon.
Well, when you look at the ministerial allotment, the list and the ministers, you wonder what is motivating the president, Bola Tinubu, because we all know that Nigerian economy and the state has virtually collapsed. So one would have expected nominees to be allotted to positions or ministries where they may have some kind of expertise or affinity with. But you see a job for the boys kind of allotment and then risking the lives of peoples. Why I say this is this. Look at the issues of Minister of Defense and the Minister of State for Defense. You locate it in the Northwest and you give it to politicians. Minister of State is governor of Zamfara State, and then the other one is another businessman. The Minister of the substantive Minister for Defense is a businessman. In an era, in a period when we are looking at war, we are looking at issues about security. You look at the Ministry of Aviation, you give it to a very loquacious, bombastic legal practitioner, Keyamo, who people would have thought that with his attitude that how will I put it, words, his flair with words, something like information would have been good for him, because that's what he's carved out for. You look at the various allotments, there's nothing much you can take home with, considering that the Nigerian economy is in a mess, the state is in a mess. You would have thought, look, and then you'll see that there's an effort to particularize some ministries in some geopolitical locations. Clearly, there's a flair to localize financial matters in the Southwest. That's why you have the Minister of Finance, coordinating Minister for the Economy, the Minister of Information and Digital Economy, the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, the Ministry of Blue Economy, everything in the Southwest. You see that the Ministry of Defense is located also in the Northwest. The Minister of State and the substantive minister are both from the Northwest. You also see a similar trend with Ministry of Housing and Urban Renewal. Both the minister and the Minister of State are located in one region. You begin to wonder, is there a deliberate effort to seed out specific parts of governance to particular regions? When you also juxtapose that with the fact that the Southeast, because of the very small number of ministers they appear to be scattered in different areas without any kind of expertise. Umahi has Ministry of Works, another one has another ministry somewhere, and then they don't control nothing. So you begin to see that the Bola Tinubu administration is solidifying and entrenching itself in the same, how will I put it, primordial sentiments that bogged down the Buhari administration. It may not be surprising because he had said from the onset that he's going to build on the legacies of Muhammadu Buhari. Perhaps that is what we're experiencing in this instance. Let me stop at this thing and also hear out what my learned colleague will say from the other side. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Barrister Eze Eluche. Now let me come to you now, Barrister Olayinka Ola Daniels. Your thoughts, and also, would you say you have surprises or disappointments, if any? Let us know from the list of ministers.
Well, thank you for the question. And the question I would say is because I'm sure not only me, a lot of people are surprised about the portfolios. I I believe so much in the capacity of Mr. President and people, I mean, to carry out such assignments. He has done it before. Unfortunately, personally, I'm disappointed. And I'm disappointed to the extent of some ministers that had no clue. We have checked them. They have no business. For instance, I'll pick Mr. Keyamo, Minister of Aviation. Aviation is a very, very sensitive office. As a very sensitive ministry, I mean. It's a ministry you don't toy with, you don't joke with. What capacity as to let's even look at being an administrator, because people may say that, wow, you don't necessarily have to be someone in the aviation.
Hello. All right, we seem to be having a network glitch with the communication with Barrister Olayinka Ola Daniels. Now, I'm going to come back to Barrister Eze Eluche. I do hope that we can, continue this conversation with you while we wait for Olayinka Ola Daniels, unfortunately. All right, so we'll take a little break now, and then we will come back.
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports, and even entertainment. Join us weekdays, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports, and even entertainment.
All right, welcome back. We do apologize for that. Let's continue the conversation with Barrister Olayinka Oladaniels. And I do have Esther. All right, good morning to you, Esther.
Good morning, Moses.
All right, Barrister Olayinka Oladaniels, we do apologize. Can you continue with your line of thoughts, please?
So I was saying that I expected more from this administration, particularly from Mr. President. From antecedents, we know what it's capable of doing when it comes to the choice of people to carry out particular assignment. But in this particular one, some of us, a lot of people are disappointed. Some of us do not see anything different from what we used to see. And I started by saying, look, let's use an example. Aviation is a ministry you do not toil with. Aviation is a ministry you do not joke with. Aviation is a very, very sensitive ministry. We know what has been happening in aviation. So we remember when Mr. Fanikayode was there, and we. So the question is, what are we doing differently? And the question again is, does Mr. Keyamo has the capacity to be a minister of aviation? Is he even a good administrator to even start with? Now, what have we seen with Keyamo that tells us that, okay, it can a change in aviation, or that tells us, oh, it can, spring up a better industry or a better ministry? Because there are people that have risen to, topmost office or level in aviation that knows the rot, that knows what they need, that needs change, that know what we need to, change, turn around to have a better ministry. Now, we all know be an activist and politicians, and there are some offices you don't give to politicians. If we really need to move forward, truth be told. And
all right, so
aviation is one of those ministries.
Do you think the belief that the president identifies talent and knows where to put who played out in all of in the portfolios?
I am not Mr. President. I do not know what Mr. President has seen in Mr. Keyamo as to his ability.
Well, Keyamo is not the only one there.
Probably they've been at the corridors apart to know, okay, what he can do. But I am speaking as a Nigerian, as an average Nigerian, that believe in I do not believe in impunity. I believe more in sustainability, and I believe more in merit and decision. I want to see the best that I can put over. Now, you took away Mr. Lake for that. A lot of people thought, oh, Mr. Lake will be in information and all that. Then you gave me the ministry you gave Mr. Lake. Can it function that? Does it have the ability to, okay, when he picked Mr. Edu for Of course, some of us, we know the antecedent of Mr. Edu. We have no issues with that. We know what he has done in finance, and we know what he's been doing. So when he got that, I was okay, fine, we understand. But there are some people, you see, some offices, some are not for politicians. You don't compensate people at the extent of the nation. And that is what we see in some of these portfolios. Compensation. Like I said, I am not Mr. President. I do not know what he has seen in these people. But judging by my own instinct, judging by what I know from some of these people, this is not the best sharing formula that I've seen when it comes to portfolios. And I think we can do better than this.
All right then.
For the Minister of Education, Tahir Maman, a couple of persons actually feel that he requires, or the portfolio given to him is worth it. He's an educational administrator and the Director General of the Nigerian Law School from 2005 to 2013. Barrister Eze Oluche. So let's look at some of the ministers and the portfolios that were given. For example, for the Minister of Education, Tahir Maman, we would say that he suits the portfolio he was given compared to the previous administration where we had one of them who necessarily did not even know anything about education, the person of Adamu Adamu. So wouldn't you say at least this time around they did a corrective measure with the portfolio assigned to him?
Not really. Even if you assign the Ministry of Education to somebody who works in the Nigerian law school, is a professional training institution. I mean, education covers quite a vast area, from primary to secondary to tertiary and all that stuff. So that person who has spent perhaps most of his working life in a professional institution, the law school, you see the ideal person to man such ministries. Look at the one given to the former governor of Rivers State, Wike. What do we expect from such a character? Is it political vindictiveness? If you see how he managed Rivers State with thuggish mannerisms, is that what we expect to see in the Federal Capital Territory? Will those who belong to parties, like particularly the PDP, who he has been having a running grouse with, will they feel at ease with such a man as the minister of the Federal Capital Territory? Will he, with his antecedents, one day wake up and mark the Labour Party or PDP secretariat set for demolition? Because this is what he's been doing in Rivers State. Look at Lalong, former governor of Plateau State. The people of Plateau State actually carried dead bodies, those who were killed in several of the attacks by the Fulani headsmen, to his office, to his house, when he was governor, showing that they had total lost confidence in him. You now make him a minister representing Plateau State. Is it what the people of Plateau State are comfortable with? Perhaps we should, with what is going on now, we should say, okay, if the ministers are to represent the states, because that's basically what they are doing, perhaps the people of the state should have a say in who represents them in the federal cabinet. Otherwise, you leave it totally at the discretion of the president, and do not say a minister has been appointed from so and so state, or has to be reflective of people of the state. If you go that route, as the Constitution says, the people of every state should have a say. And I bet you, under no circumstance the people of Plateau State would have thought of having a Lalong represent them in any sphere, a man who they had totally rejected when he was even a sitting state governor. I mean, the ministerial list is shocking. And like my colleague on this panel has said, it is surprising and it's shocking, because those who knew Bola Tinubu in his heydays, with the peak of ministerial nominees, commissioner appointees and nominees he used to have, are embarrassed at what is going on. And that is only reflective of the fact that Mr. Bola Tinubu is diminishing intellectually and cerebrally. He is not the person, we saw him during the campaigns. He's not like he was when he was a governor. So I am not surprised. You may be surprised, my dear colleague, because I know that he's not at the same level. He has left his peak a long time ago. So what the appointees being made now do not represent the Bola Tinubu, the kind of peak that a Bola Tinubu would have made 20 years ago when he was governor. This current ministerialist is an apology to Nigerians. And our only hope is that hopefully This will be a placeholders cabinet. Like I keep on saying, the president himself is being, as far as I'm concerned, he's a placeholder because the tribunals are still sitting and hopefully soon they will deliver their judgment. Because I cannot see Nigeria moving forward one in virtually all spheres, from the defense to the housing to the works to the Federal Capital Territory to the aviation, like he said, is the most terrible area. Will I be confident entering an aeroplane in Nigeria knowing that the supervising minister for is a Festus Keyamo? I will not be. In fact, there was a cartoon that came out that for now, till this man leaves his office, night bus will become a very popular means of transportation. Because you feel unsafe in a plane knowing that a person like Keyamo is the supervising minister. So the list, I would be very happy to see any sector. Perhaps the finance sector, yes, Edu is well known. Okay. The health sector is also under a very capable minister who has shown over the years that he knows what the area is about. But virtually every sector of the system of the Nigerian government has been given to political stakeholders, and that is not what we need now.
Really, especially for Tahir, Vice Chancellor of Bayes University, you're thinking that this particular minister is not worthy of the educational sector. Why I'm asking is that the last administration, yes, we saw what happened with education. The minister there knew nothing, and that sector literally slid down the drain. So don't you think that he, at least the president, understood the importance of putting somebody who knew the viability
if you allow me, okay, if you allow me to speak on Tai.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Tai, I know him very well, and I think Mr. Tai took over when some of us finished law school under Mr. Bayomi, the SN. Okay. You know. Now, when he took over, we know what law school used to be, okay, and we know what law school turned to when Tai took over. I do not see Tai as a good administrator, and that is just law school. Now, we are talking about education ministry, all levels. And from what Tai exhibited in law school during his tenure, I do not see a good education minister. I can say that anywhere. I know that for a fact. This is not a third party information. So when some people that don't know that, because somebody was a DG, we know how some of these things comes up. We know how some of these appointments comes up. We know how some of them get into all this, and when they get, because there's a way they get into such appointment, they deliver nothing or less, and nothing happens. We know what happened during his tenure. So don't let us go there. As a Minister of Education, I do not see anything Tai is coming to deliver.
So if we have, okay, go ahead.
There are people in education that are more capable, more handled, that can deliver what we want to see as a nation. So that is why I'm saying, I just want Mr. President to prove me wrong. This is my bit, I'm saying, but it may be better. When he was the governor, his chief of staff was Mr. Fashola. A lot of people said no to Mr. Fashola when he was presenting him as governor aspirant. But when Mr. Fashola took over, he said, I know among all these commissioners, among all the people that have worked with me, I know this man. Give me a chance. Let this man be the governor. He presented this Mr. Fashola, and we know what happened afterward. From assessment, we were all in the know, and we all agree that none of those people could deliver what Mr. Fashola delivered. Mr. Fashola is a lawyer.
Oh, probably
would he deliver? A good administrator. Because when he was the chief of staff of Mr. Tinubu, he worked. He was actually the administrator. De facto. I don't want to use the job. We all know all those things. But today, from what I see, maybe a pinch of salt there, maybe few, it got them right. But a lot of them is a no-no for me. But it could actually prove me wrong, because this, at some point, we also did not believe in his appointment at some point when he was governor, but they deliver. So maybe that same thing will happen here. We are hopeful. We are not, but I'm highly disappointed from what I can see.
So with these portfolios assigned to these ministers, are we expecting to see a reflection of the previous administration in this administration if we're not happy with the portfolios assigned to these various individuals?
We may not be happy. We may not agree with them as to the appointment. But if they deliver, the story will change. Why we are saying this is because we know that some of those people do. For instance, look at Mr. Defense, Minister of State Defense, former Zamfara governor. During his tenure, do you know how many people died in Zamfara? What did he do?
Sorry.
By day. Now he's the same Minister of State and Defense. So I do not see anything in these people. And these people, they can surprise us, they can disappoint us. Some of us, we will say the day they do good, we will tell them. The day they misbehave, we will say it. That is why we are here. But tomorrow, if they change, they disappoint us, or they prove us wrong, and they deliver, oh, beautiful. Because we want a better Nigeria. That is the aim of this whole thing. And why we're saying this is because we're not comfortable with the people we have, and that this whole same thing may continue from what we had at the last administration. But they can prove us wrong. Let's see how it goes.
All right, so let's take, I want to take the ministers, just take a few of them. Coming to you now, Barrister Eze Eluchie. I'm trying to get my finger on this one. Bello Matawalle. Bello Matawalle, Minister of State for Defense. Staying with you, Barrister Eze Eluchie. What do you make of this appointment or this portfolio of Bello Matawalle? And also, yes, I want to get Eze Eluchie's response now.
Well, like the other guest I just mentioned, Bello Matawalle, when he left the office of governor in Zamfara, he took over 40 official vehicles with him. The police had to even go and retrieve the vehicles. They just virtually stopped short of charging him for theft before the same president intervened and the vehicles and all that stuff was released to him. So, if with such antecedents, much from this character, the answer is no. In terms of financial and his capacity to manage assets of the state, which is later when he was governor, you now give him a ministry that almost a quarter of the budget of the country goes into. And like I said, this is just another job for the boys. I pity the serving soldiers and the military who will be serving under the same man that has not handled the state properly. So, do we hope? I don't want to even hope, because we shouldn't keep on living in hope. The need for screening ministers is to know their capacity, and the antecedents will tell you also what capacity they have. So when you have a minister who his past has been bogged down with minorities, and you say you hope on what basis? This is a hopeless regime. I don't expect. We saw how they were screened, no questions, they go. So the next couple of months, as long as these guys are going to be in office as ministerial nominees, Nigerians may actually take a bow and just hope for the best.
Now that you said that, let's take a look at the screening process again. Now, do you think going forward in subsequent years, should the portfolios be attached to the names provided, so the screening could be properly done? Do you think that will give us a better result?
Certainly. You see, but unfortunately, we don't have a constitutional process that insists on that, because we have governors who insist that everything must be written in the Constitution. In the United States, there is nowhere it is stated that you must assign portfolios or you must have all that kind of stuff. But the fact that it is just commonsensical, you submit a name with the portfolios to allow those who will screen to know what questions they have to screen. Certain things don't have to be written in black and white in our Constitution. But when you have people smuggling all kinds of names, and then wait for us to applaud when they now begin to dish out the ministries to their cronies. It's unfortunate. One thing we have not even addressed in this program on this ministerial allotment is the portfolio of the Minister of Petroleum Affairs, which was not mentioned, which means Bola Tinubu himself hopes to continue with the malfeasance Mr. General Muhammadu Buhari started with, reserving that juicy and topmost ministry to himself. And we saw the nonsense Buhari made of the petroleum sector. Throughout the 8 years, none of the refineries worked, none of the refineries was even rehabilitated. And again, we see the same Bola Tinubu reserving that ministry for himself. In fact, it has no minister for now. And then, if you look at the laws governing the NNPC, the new Petroleum Industry Act, there are specific provisions and expectations of the Minister of Petroleum Affairs. Now, in this instance, there is no minister. Or will one day Bola Tinubu wake up and say, "Okay, I'm now the minister," and people will clap for him? A man who lacks the capacity to even deliver of extemporary speeches will become a minister of petroleum in this era, when subsidies are being bandied about and removed and added at will.
Barrister Eze.
We have all cause to be worried in this country as based on the kind of appointments we're having in this government.
Barrister Eze, well, the president has not. We believe that he's not done appointing.
We have ministers.
Well, he's not done, and there is a possibility that some more names will come up. It was 48 initially,
Yeah, but nice,
and then was dropped to 45.
45.
We just might have more. Now, I'm going to ask Olayinka now. Do you think we might see a situation where some portfolios will be reshuffled as time goes on?
I look forward to that. And I think the way it is, that will surely happen. It has happened before, but I see this administration doing that because it's crystal clear. Some, not just the way it should go now. Maybe it will look at it and we may have a reshufflement when it comes to this portfolio. It's very, very possible. I see that happening.
Well, why do you think we'll have some reshuffling? Why do you think we'll have some reshuffling? How are you certain we'll have some reshuffling? Because the president was quite certain in his nominations when he sent those names. And before the portfolios were assigned, of course, he had gone through them. So that means he was certain that these are the individuals he wants to occupy those sectors. So how are we certain that they will make any reshuffling?
If he was certain, that portfolio would have gone with them to the Senate for screening. He would have sent their names with the portfolios. If truly he was certain about the nomination or with the ministerial appointees that he was looking forward to. We saw how, if not that the law had given a particular time frame, we may not still have this list now. It started well. So we thought, okay, at this movement, okay, maybe under 2 weeks, we should have all the ministers in place. In fact, as the National Assembly, as they are sitting, that is the first assignment they should be doing. That was what some of us expected, but we did not get that. So I want to believe if it was certain, the portfolio would have surely come with the ministerial appointment, but I do not think so. And that is why we have this, and that is why I'm telling you there's a possibility for reshufflement. Okay. And talking about the Ministry of Petroleum, the president on that, we saw what happened during the last administration also, and that started when we had the Minister of Petroleum, and the Minister of Petroleum suddenly became a continent. I won't say a nation, because it's a continent that, some continent probably have the money that would discover somebody took away from us, commonwealth. So you may not totally blame them, but I think the right thing should still be done. You can't be all and all. You're Mr. President, and there's an office, Ministry of Petroleum. There's no reason why we shouldn't have a Minister of Petroleum, not just left to the Minister of State. Though I'm sure from my own insight, I just felt, okay, the reason why they are still holding on to this, maybe because what has happened in the past. But that can be checked if we have a better administration now that think, okay, all this can be put into check. Yeah, we can say minister, because all the ministers can do things under them. So I do not see a reason why we shouldn't have, and that should be left to Mr. President. Mr. President has so much in his hand, so he cannot be the one overseeing the Ministry of Petroleum. We expected to have a minister for that at this time.
All right, okay.
And sorry, before we leave the ministries, let me also talk about the Ministry of Justice.
Okay, go ahead.
For the past 20 years, we have had ministers of justice who suddenly, rather than protecting Nigeria using their intellect as lawyers and senior lawyers, they rather use that as a place to loot, steal, and rob the country. Look at all the former ministers of justice. They're going to sprees of signing contracts, loan recovery, debt recovery for Nigeria that enrich themselves. From Andokan to the immediate past one, Malami, they became like the opposite of what a minister of justice should be. We only hope that the current nominee of person who is going to go into that office will not go the same route. Because before now, he was a respected senior advocate, but the kind of things that go on in the Ministry of Justice from the past experience of the past 20 years, all the ministers of justice have turned out to be crooks. And I use that as a lawyer. So there is all probabilities that even this current one, with what's going on, and with the kind of lack that the diminished President Bola Tinubu will have on him, we just hope for him. We pray for him, because those of us who are into law practice know him as a vibrant and a very cerebral son. We hope he keeps that way, proves a change and a difference from what seen in the past.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Barrister Eze Eluche and Olayinka Oladanel, who is also a legal practitioner. But we'll keep you gentlemen for a little bit longer as we go into another part of the show. Now, up next on VOP this morning, all eyes on the judiciary. Now, that's the quote that's causing that's causing a storm in a teacup, and could cost some people their jobs. Some have been suspended already. We'll talk about this when we come back.